Hey Snow,
Hey MJ.
Reality Binge and Podcast is back on a Sunday night. Got PETA from Memphis.
Hey,
What's
Hi
going on?
what's
Peter.
going on? Hey,
How are things in Memphis?
it's hit or miss. It's either 70 degrees or it's 40 degrees. We had a string of tornadoes come by and like tear everything up. I don't know if you saw that. It was
Yeah,
like
Kentucky
it
got
was
hit the worst, right?
it hit 5 states. It was the worst continuous tornado. The tornado was continuous for 5 states. It was the worst one since 1921.
yeah.
Okay.
What's weird is it's almost identical to that path. Like it followed exactly the same path as it did in 21. So, um, anyway, I mean, I guess yay for jet streams. I mean, they're consistent, right? So I don't know. Um, but yeah, it was terrible. We have some friends that they're from Kentucky and they brought shipments of food and water to different cities in Kentucky that got hit bad.
And so this thing was on the ground for like 200 and something miles.
Yeah, it was wild.
That was crazy. And what is it up to? It's like 89 fatalities across
Right,
3 states.
right. And including several warehouses where the workers were told that they couldn't go home, which is pretty crazy. I think one of them was a candle factory in Kentucky.
And the other one was
Where
Amazon.
Right. And what's even crazier is the Amazon factory is under the rules of OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety Hazard Act of 1970. Like employers with more than like 15 or 30 workers, they're required to give like announcements over like a microphone or a PA system, like announcing like, there's a storm in the region or any type of really bad inclement weather. Like they have to make announcements, they have to do roll call, they have to do all these different procedures. Like the candle factory did that, the Amazon factory did not. Like they didn't make any announcements. They were like playing like, like yacht rock the entire time. And these guys just got flattened by a tornado. They had no idea. And I think there was even a delivery driver where he had a communication with his wife and he was like, hey, I have to keep on delivering packages. Like, think of me and, keep me in your thoughts. And she's like, well, why don't they let you home and go home? And he's like, yeah, Amazon won't let us do that. So we have to keep on the road delivering. And then that was
Mhm.
like the last thing she talked about. So
So it wasn't a
Yeah.
matter of them keeping them at the facility to keep them safe, quote unquote. It was a matter because they didn't want them out on the roads. It was a matter of just keep the production going.
Oh, it was the building
so
and the on-road people. I think it was
Yeah,
both, right?
yeah. Because that's the whole part and parcel of like Amazon is they have the delivery component and then they have the warehouse component. But what's crazy is so under OSHA again, going back to OSHA is like you're required to have like quote unquote adequate facilities to withstand a tornado. You know what I mean? Like really bad weather. Like you have to have, and they don't really say like what it has to be. They don't specify it. They kind of leave that up to the employer. But like you're, you have to have at least some type of facility. Like if it's like a bricked in bathroom or something like that, that everybody could huddle in, or maybe like an underground basement. You know what I mean? Like it looks like Amazon didn't have anything. The reason this is like like significant is like the OSHA fines were raised. It's like $365,000 per violation if it's found to be a gross negligent violation. And just in case you think like, oh well, you know what? I mean, it'll be a slap on the wrist. Dollar General just got hit for like over $350,000 because they had like a back room with like soap on the ground and all this other stuff and water leak, and they were told multiple times to clean it up and they didn't. And so like OSHA just like unleashed on them, and that's Dollar General. I mean, you would think like, Amazon's got to be in a higher tier. Am I right?
You would
Right.
think.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, just for the liability.
If he's going to
alone.
space, is the CEO of Dollar General going to space?
No, he's not.
God, can you imagine
Yeah.
the lawsuits that are going to come out of that?
Oh, if I mean,
Yeah.
I like, yeah.
I hope
If I
so.
was,
I mean, they should.
yeah,
They should have
it's
just
going to
done
be
what
like
they were supposed to do.
like literally, it's going to be like a huge class action suit. I mean, Amazon's going to get just hit because if you figure like it's got to be at every single facility, it's got to be the same.
Yeah,
So
I imagine that they're not all up to code.
yeah, and then it's so easy. I mean, like literally, you can if you're like if I own we own a facility, like we make stuff, like we're regularly inspected by like the health department, and the and stuff like that to be compliant with the FDA, like and like you can even request OSHA to come to your facility and they'll give you advice and they'll even do like teach-ins and they'll teach people and it's all free. And conversely, like if you're a worker, you can make an anonymous request to have OSHA come visit a work site, which is it's like there's literally an entire TikTok channel like dedicated to OSHA violations, and it's
Wow.
like, the OSHA like showing up into the job work site and finding like guys on a 2x4 like, pouring cement. He's like, where's the supervisor at? They're like, who? And he's like, yeah, I'm from OSHA. They're like, busted by OSHA. So anyway.
That can't be a fun day, but
How did Memphis get hit by it? How bad was it there?
So here's a story about Memphis. Memphis is traditionally it's on a bluff, and so the bluff the city of Memphis was an old Chickasaw, Indian. The Chickasaw American Indian tribe was here in Memphis, and they selected this bluff, and they were here for like I don't know, like 10,000 years. The bluff protects against the Mississippi River, and it also is a natural barrier to tornadoes. And so, so you don't really get hit too bad in Memphis. Where it drops down is usually in farm fields, but the problem is like a lot of these farm fields are now like developers have come in and build houses on these farm fields, and so it's always like just some field out in the middle of nowhere where there's like maybe a trailer, and it just gets torn up and stuff like that. But Memphis wasn't too bad, so we were relatively okay.
that's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least how far outside of Memphis are you actually?
I'm beyond East Memphis. I'm in the town of Collierville, which is like, so that's a suburb of Memphis. And so, so we're about, say maybe like 30 minutes out.
Okay.
It'd be like, I guess the equivalent of like Glendale to Phoenix, more or less.
Okay. Well,
Or
that's not
like
too far.
Henderson to Vegas.
Okay.
Okay. Geez, speaking of Collierville, we haven't talked to you since you had that shooting at was it Smith's? There? Kroger,
which
yeah.
owns Smith's. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's under Fry's, Kroger, Smith, all of them. Yeah.
So having one of these mass shootings, in your town, that must have been kind of disturbing.
Yeah. And it was like it was a guy that was disgruntled. He'd just gotten fired that day, and he came back and he specifically looked for coworkers to shoot. And I think like the people that died, one of the only non-employees was like a woman who actually had like a heart attack and died.
Oh my
there.
God.
But more to the point is how it affects the community, because this is like the grocery store in our community. There's a Walmart, but like who wants to go to Walmart, to buy shit.
Yeah.
And the Kroger are union employees, and so it's literally it's the nicest one. It's like it's got the most stuff. It's easiest to get in and out of. It's very clean. And so not only was that shut down, but the pharmacy was shut down too. And so like everybody had to go to the next Kroger over, which is it may be about 15-20 minutes away, and that was just a nightmare because it was just so packed. I mean, I had to go to, because it just had no other place to go, I mean, other than Aldi, but yeah.
Has it opened up since?
It has. It opened up again, and the pharmacy opened up first, and like it was crazy because again, like there's this huge long lines for pharmacy as there always are, but people were like, I mean, everybody that was going through the pharmacy was like telling people how much they appreciate it, and like how sad they are about the tragedy, and just it really did have a profound effect, and it just kind of makes you realize one is how important these kind of things are in communities, as far as access to food and groceries. And then it also kind of like, it made me think of like inner cities where there's food deserts, where they literally like, it's like the convenience store, or the bodega where you can maybe get some, sandwiches and wrap snacks, and that's it. I mean, there's no grocery chain, maybe a Dollar General, that's it, so
well, yeah, I mean, like,
anyway,
in comparison, like to here, I've always wondered why they didn't build a grocery store in Golden Valley, other than the water issue, which just keeps them from. So a lot of those grocery chains are really focused on population, and this is from somebody who worked in Golden Valley. Like I worked at a hay and feed store in Golden Valley, and they had the Maverick that was there, and the Maverick was like a big deal, and I think it's still there, right? Yeah.
And so the Maverick, when the Maverick opened up, like it had like fresh bread and stuff like that, and things like that, but it's still like kind of a gas station. But they just never had like the population to really support a grocery chain, which is crazy because Bash's is one of the few grocery chains that really built in rural Arizona. I mean, they're in a lot of the Indian reservations, and the reason I bring this up is because they were just recently bought out by Ralph's from California.
Bash's'?
They bought out.
No way.
Yeah. And so it looks like Ralph's is going to basically put money into Bash's'.
Coming to Arizona.
But they could close them all down too. You just don't know.
Well, they just remodeled. I don't think that's going to happen because they're just remodeling the one here as we speak.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, and Ralph's is a good grocery chain. I mean, they're local. They're California, but
Ralph's is union.
Mm-hmm.
Bash's' is not.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know if they were.
Yeah, they're not.
I know.
Eddie Basha always had this thing where he was at least good in the sense he would pay union wages because he didn't want to deal with the unions, to keep the unions out, which that I don't so much have a problem with as long as you're willing to keep up with the union wages.
Right.
Yeah. Well, unions, this is kind of the running theme here today.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Eddie, he, I don't know if you guys remember, but he did run for governor of Arizona.
Yeah.
He had a rural strategy where he was going to try to beat, win the rural vote. And, unfortunately those votes just didn't come in for him. He ran a competitive race and it was close. And he ran on the Democratic ticket, but he couldn't beat Fife Symington, I think, is who he ran against.
I think you're right. Anyway. I think it was Fife.
Yeah.
This was before my time. When was this?
It was like late 90s, early 2000s, maybe?
Yeah.
That's what I want to guess.
We were in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal because a lot of people in Kingman really supported him, and he came into Kingman and talked about all the stuff that he was doing for the rural communities and stuff. He banked a lot of votes on the Indian reservations and they just didn't materialize for him.
Wait a minute. He had support in Kingman? Being a Democrat?
Yeah. You're going to think this is crazy,
right?
But Janet Napolitano carried Mojave County twice.
Wow.
So,
I do think you're right. I do think that's crazy.
Well, she pulled all the teachers unions and the teachers really backed her.
Oh,
and the largest employer in Mojave County are the hospitals and the teachers. So,
cool.
But I was at a governor's convention in Little Rock, and I ran into Janet, and she is so much fun. That woman can karaoke like you'd not believe. And when I told her, I said, "Look, you probably don't know where this place is, but I'm from Kingman. I grew up in Kingman." And she's like,
I carried Mojave County twice. So how about that? And that was like her first thing. And so like we started talking and hanging out, and so yeah, we went, and she's like, where can I get some good karaoke here? We went to the bars on Clinton Avenue, and she's like, did Bill Clinton really pass out on the stairs of like one of the bars here? I'm like, it's rumored to be true. I can't say, you never know where Bill Clinton, and she was like, did he really like run to the McDonald's? I was like, absolutely. He absolutely jogged to the
sounds
McDonald's.
plausible.
That when Phil Hartman used to play him on Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
he used to have him jogging to McDonald's.
There's he literally, so he was at the old State House. That was his headquarters when he ran for president, and he would run on Broadway Avenue, which is maybe like a mile and a half, and he would jog to the McDonald's and get like a McMuffin. So yeah.
Would you see him?
Yeah. I mean, Bill's he's always available. He like goes to church whenever he's in town.
He's a vegan now,
him.
so
he is.
So he's not going to McDonald's anymore.
He had 3 heart attacks, the poor dude.
Yeah.
He had multiple stents put in and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he switched to veganism after that. If you ever get a chance, like Google Bill Clinton and the strawberry cake incident, and it is literally one of the funniest fucking things that you will ever.
Go ahead, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just leave us hanging like that.
So when he was his first year as president, so he's a stress eater. Like when he gets stressed out, he eats, and so somebody brought him an entire strawberry cake, and he like literally mowed it down all to himself. Half of it, he ate half of it, like when he brought it in.
He did not share with Hillary and Chelsea.
He did not share with anybody, and so like. They were really concerned about his image and stuff like that, and and all this other stuff. And so somebody in the campaign like took his fucking strawberry cake and like either hid it from him or threw it away, And so he got up the next morning, and it was gone. And he like wouldn't do his he had to put his intel briefing on hold and everything else like that. And he was like
over a strawberry cake.
He was like, where's my fucking cake? And he's like, somebody better fucking come up and tell me where the goddamn cake is. And he's like, yeah.
Can't you just ask the White House chef to
make him a new strawberry cake? Right.
It was somebody brought it to him from Arkansas. So he wanted that goddamn cake back. He was like, I want my goddamn cake. So
well, I want the recipe to this cake now. This must be some cake if he flipped out over that cake, man. I
will say, there's a Black-owned bakery in Little Rock, and it goes back to like the 1911s is when it first started, and everything, and I mean everything, is made from scratch. And their Italian buttercream is so amazing that you will literally like when you take one bite, it's like just you see like their body. So
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a kind of crazy weekend in the NFL, especially affecting your team.
Yeah.
So your conspiracy is that the Cowboys gave the Washington football team the COVID
because of the rivalry.
All I'm gonna say
We're
is
gonna
like
beat you.
50% of the Cowboys, of their coaching staff was out 2 weeks ago because of COVID, and they all came back for the Washington game, and now all of the Washington players are sick. Make of that what you will.
I thought it was supposed to be the rule is if you didn't have enough, if you came down with that on your team and you got this mass infection, that the game would be forfeited, that they weren't going to postpone games.
Dude, they're not going to do that, man. There's so much money involved. I mean, like the players union got in, and they've changed the rule to now that if you're asymptomatic, and you've been vaccinated, because you remember they passed the rule thing, everyone should be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got guys like Aaron Rodgers, who was like, yeah,
we
he
call him
like,
Karen Rogers over here.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he like went to some Tibetan yogi and got like like a health slip or doctor's note, that exempted him,
He
so to
got it
speak,
from
until
Joe
they found
Rogan, I
out.
thought. He got
No.
Yeah.
Well, he got
his free
inaugurated.
pass.
No, when he found out he got tested positive, he consulted Joe Rogan for advice.
Okay,
instead
yeah.
of his
I
doctor.
knew Joe Rogan had something to
Jesus.
do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe Rogan.
I was
He is a medical doctor now, don't you know?
just because I don't want
He's
to have
only
to
like 5'4".
You can be short and be a doctor.
just because I don't want to have to
Yeah.
deal with him. I was hoping he'd be suspended from multiple games.
Yeah, who was suspended for multiple games is Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and Tony Brown.
He got
He's another
suspended
one.
because he got a fake
Vaccination
COVID card.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is, remember, Antonio Brown like lived with Tom Brady, like they were roommates, dude. Like, where's that sitcom? God damn it, I mean,
Yeah, Tom's being strangely quiet about that one.
yeah.
And I guess that when he comes back, Bruce Arians is talking about cutting him from the team.
Well, it was pretty. It's pretty bad that he like literally went out and got like a fake card. I mean, that's just egregious. So,
Well,
I don't know. I mean, the guy's had so many chances. He like.
Well, it wasn't also that the 3 games that had to be postponed. It was Washington, the Cleveland Browns, and
the Rams.
And the Rams, but they only tested 3 teams, right? And they went in and tested a bunch of players on 3 teams. It turned out like multiple, a dozen or more players on each team tested positive.
I don't doubt it. I mean,
So,
having played football, like those locker rooms are like saunas, man. I mean, and those guys are in those rooms, especially during the season. Like Tom Brady would show up at 4 a.m., to start doing film. I mean, they literally live in there, so you're going to get sick. If one guy has it, everyone's going to have it.
well, Baker Mayfield called out the NFL for only testing those 3 teams. And I sort of agree that maybe if you're having this outbreak, they should have tested all the teams and gotten a grip on it. Now they're saying that they're not going to test.
They probably don't want to know those so they can continue the games.
Well,
correct?
yeah, you don't want that.
They're going to be losing a lot of money.
How much money are you going to make on a Tuesday afternoon playing the game, though?
Oh, I mean, the NFL is like the top dog. You know what I mean? Like they are the number one watched sporting event in America, and it's not even a competition. I mean, even though they've been declining for I think the past 10 or 15 years, and like basketball has been on the upswing. And even in decline, they're still like the number. I mean, the days of the 80s, when John Madden and stuff like that was their peak, and they've really gone downhill since then. What's crazy though is like we talked about basketball, I just mentioned basketball, but like it was the player Kyrie Irving, like the Brooklyn Nets have been hit so bad that they were forced to bring him back. And the thing is that he was a guy that refused to be vaccinated. He was like, I'm not going to be vaccinated, and made this huge to-do about it, and they banned him. And then you had all those like Trump supporters that like broke through the gates of like of the park, and like to free Kyrie, and like the protest that he was in there, and like went in there and like did like a mini Capitol run where they just went and tore shit up,
Really?
And so
so they did this at the Barclays Center?
The Barclays Center, yeah. And so they bring this guy back, and it's hilarious because like all these like really like Trumpy sports announcers are like, oh yeah, well look at it now, like the Nets are having to kiss Kyrie Irving's ass, and it's like he's back in the league now because they don't have anyone else to turn to, and I hope Kyrie really like makes him like eat crow for this. And then it showed it was like 11 hours later, Kyrie Irving has tested positive for COVID. He's now in COVID protocol. No. Like he didn't even last, Like somebody put up a post, and it was like the
the Wile E. Coyote, you know, when he's like got a racket strapped to him, you know, and he was just like, Kyrie Irving has entered back into the league, you know, he's like lighting the fuse, and then it's like Kyrie Irving tests positive for COVID, and he's like completely burnt to a crisp. You know? So anyway,
That's it. It's good that they use Wile E. Coyote then. Not only do the names rhyme, but the same kind of outcomes there.
Hey, although one more thing about football, I'm happy to state that my Patriots are back after a 1-year layoff, and they're looking solid.
Got trounced.
But yeah, last night, yes, they got
by the Colts.
They were coming back though. They just ran out of time.
It's called garbage time, my friend.
Uncharacteristic mistakes at the end, but hey, we got right in the ship for Buffalo next week. Beat Buffalo, we'll get the division, and there's no dominating team this year. Other than even the Chiefs started out rough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think COVID has been a great equalizer.
True.
So it's really thrown everything into chaos again. I'm trying to think of who does look good. I don't. Green Bay, man, probably Green Bay. I mean, they just beat a really good football team in the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't go for 2 in that situation though.
Why do you do that?
You score, you tie it, and you leave it up to overtime.
They were at home. They had the home field advantage too. Like when you're on the road, you go for the win, and when you're at home, you go for the tie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I have no understanding what a hard.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers to go to the Super Bowl because it's going to divide the country between it'll be all about anti-vax for 2 weeks before.
It'll be if Green Bay goes, it'll be turned into political.
I want the Belichick versus Brady Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean Brady. I guess the Buccaneers are looking great too. Man. I mean they're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see Gronk? I mean, that guy's catching balls and just running over people.
They do have Brady and Gronk,
Yeah.
They won last year.
So just a couple more things to wrap up.
Back to back.
Your feelings on the Kellogg's thing. I mean, so it looks like they're getting close to a contract now.
And so just like full disclosure, so our company Bootsies, we've reached out to the press communications director for the bakers and trades workers union, and we've offered to bring them lunch.
Really?
Yeah, and here's the reason why is because Snow knows this, but for anyone who's non-union. Is when you go on strike is basically your paychecks stop. You don't get paid, and so you're paid out of a general compensation.
The strike fund,
right. And so the strike fund pays like maybe $80 a day.
Yeah, it's like this was back in '97, but it's like it was. I was a part timer, so it was $55 a week.
Yeah,
a week.
Yeah. So it's either. It's either. I think I was told like it's either $100, $110 a week, or
that's what it is for full time. Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of these guys that do go on strike they only eat 1 day a week, and because they have to pay rent, they have families they have to take care of, and so the whole concept of going on strike is it's tried and true, and it's. If you can withhold your labor long enough, that eventually the employers are going to have to come around, and it's never failed. When the workers can hold and withhold and hold out, it'll never fail. And a good example of this is look at John Deere. I mean, my God, the John Deere workers went on strike. Like they tried to bring on scabs, they couldn't do the work. Like the managers tried to run the assembly line, and they had a tractor fall off and tear up like $1 million worth of machinery, because the fundamental thing is like the managers can't do the job of the workers, and so if you can withhold that long enough, eventually, they're going to have to come to the bargaining table. Kellogg, they've tried to bring in scabs. They've, they had a train that derailed in Michigan, and the railroad workers wouldn't cross the strike line to put it back on the tracks.
Good.
And so they had to they had to get winches and tow cables and put it back on the tracks themselves. They've had multiple factory errors, and it's gotten so bad that they're taking the name Kellogg off Pop-Tarts.
Wait, Kellogg's makes Pop-Tarts at the band.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I'm going with the generic brand now.
Yeah, you'll have to get the store brand.
So there's a couple collectives in California. A friend of mine, Chad Loader, is on there, and he's a guy that really goes after Proud Boy organizations and stuff like that. He's printed up like stickers that you can download, and you can print them on your home computer. And it's like these stickers that say like "Be great, don't break the strike line," or "Don't cross the line." And now people are taking them and printing them off, and you can go and you can print them off at home and go to your local grocery store and slap them on Kellogg stuff.
Nice.
And if you like, I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened to their idea of hiring the scabs? Why did that go through?
And so it has, they've busted some scabs and stuff like that. So the whole, I don't know everything, but I know a little bit of what's going on with Kellogg is, so in Kellogg, they did a hiring change, and they said any worker that was hired after, I believe it was like 2005, they had basically every year you're there with Kroger or with Kellogg, you get a 3% raise in your check. If you get tenure and stuff like that, and it's tiered, and so every so many years you get a 3% raise. And so they did away with that in 2005. And so what's happened since the pandemic is, they're working 80 hours a week on production. It's forced overtime. And on top of that is a lot of the older workers have been kind of retired out of the system. And so they've got a lot of new workers in, but the new workers aren't eligible for the raises. On top of that is that when they got the Trump tax cuts, Kellogg basically did stock buybacks with their money and bought back the stocks in order to, from their employees, and basically to boost their shareholder values. So, so now, the workers came to him and said, look, we want you to change these things. We want 3% raise, and, we want you to, hire more people, and, we don't want to work forced overtime anymore. Like they're working 6-7 days a week, 12-hour days. And so that's kind of why they're on strike now. So
hopefully that gets resolved. It's looking like it's going to get resolved in the near future.
They're looking at the second contract that's come through. They rejected the first one. They're looking at the second one. And it's looking like they might go ahead and ratify that. So, but yeah, especially in the South, it's really tough. I think a lot of these guys, like I know we're right down the hallway from the stage workers and stage worker union, which is affiliated with the Teamsters. Mm-hmm. They're also on strike, and they agreed to the contract. They went on strike and they agreed to that contract, and a lot of them were really upset, especially since, if you look at what happened with the John Deere tractor workers, like they stuck to their guns and played hardball, and they got a huge across the bonus raise. Yeah. Not only for the union workers, but they went ahead and gave a raise to the non-union workers too, because they were afraid that it would not giving them that raise would encourage them to join. So.
Yeah, and the other one going on, and I think it's still going on, is the Major League Baseball owners locked out the players.
Yeah. That's so. If you didn't know, the Major League Baseball Players Union is the most powerful union in the world. They've got more money than any other union in the world. I mean, it's a serious deal. So, I mean, for Major League to take on the Players Union, at this time is, man, that's ballsy. I don't know why they're doing it, but it does not look good. So,
Well, I mean, it probably has a little bit to do with the falling ratings, but that's happening in every sport. And,
they had a shortened season. Yeah.
But I'm on board with the players on this one.
I think the biggest advantage they have is that with Biden as the president, is he basically has gotten rid of all the he cleaned house on the National Labor Relations Board and really stacked it with some pro workers. And so like you don't, I mean, the National Labor Relations Board is really coming out hard and, for workers. And so, it's, I think Major League Baseball thinks that they can kind of wait it out, but it just, again, this is the players union is the most powerful union in the world.
Yeah, but they can't.
Every single time they've done it, it just backfires.
The sport can't take another shortened season or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it barely recovered from the last time they did this back in.
Yeah. They need to shorten it though. I mean, it's too long.
Well, you need to shorten the season. Yeah. Overall. Yeah. But what I'm saying is they can't take another half year off. I don't know if you get the people back, because you're not going to have the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa thing again to bring people back to watching it again.
Yeah. But I mean, it was the World Series was great. It was the Braves that beat the Stros. I mean, it was a great series. I mean, it's Atlanta's a smaller market. I mean.
It wasn't great because the Stros knocked off my Red Sox.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah.
Hey, so finally, what's going on with Bootsies?
So,
sauce, best sauce
so
ever.
we entered in the world's largest sauce competition, which is in New Mexico. It's the Scovie hot sauce and barbecue sauce competition, and spices, and we won. We
really?
Took home third place. Yeah, we entered the mustard sauce.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we took home the bronze. They just announced it not too long ago, and so this is a project that we worked on for 2 years. You guys were integral in this, because you started the living hell out of me, wanting to know when's the sauce coming out. So
the Pineapple Express, dude.
The Pineapple Express, yeah.
Hey, is that available again?
It is. We
need to restock.
I know.
Yeah. It's supposedly our buyer in Kingman is looking at placing another order. So
West of Third.
Yeah,
good. I'll just go down there then and get some.
Yeah. Have you been down there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been down there, but I didn't know she placed another order. So I'll have to go.
She hasn't placed one yet, but she said she's
gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll have to get a hold of her. And while we're speaking of Sarah Ferry and West of Third here in Kingman for the local listeners, the local homeless shelter here got shut down because of COVID, and they'll be closed for another week or so. And Sarah is collecting clothes and sleeping bags to donate for the homeless in this area. So if there's anybody listening who has extra items, please donate them down to West of Third, because it's been really cold for this time. Well, it's Kingman, it's cold all over, but it's been particularly cold the last couple of weeks, and having the shelter closed is pretty rough. But also, go see her for your Bootsie's Delta Funk.
And also, there's a lot of there's always this the reason for the season, and people threatening to firebomb Starbucks if they come out with some sort of evil non-Christmas related cup or something. So there's
your cups better say Merry fucking Christmas on them.
Right. So if you're one of those people who are I just said Merry Christmas and I just offended everybody. I saw one of those posts today. Sorry if you're offended. If I said Merry Christmas, please, I hope that you are donating to Sarah Ferry.
Yeah.
Because that's what Jesus would do.
Yes, I have always said, and back when I used to fight with the people in the Kingman Daily Miner, and it got religious,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, Jesus would be a progressive, and that would end the fight right there. Just boom, stop it.
Yeah.
But
He would have been a communist, technically.
Which nothing says Merry Christmas more than taking a picture of your family holding, assault rifles, in front of a Christmas tree. Like
a day after a
what
school
Jesus-
shooting. The day after a school shooting. Yeah.
Stay
like
classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classy.
And to the ones listening, because we're now heard in 38 different countries around the world. We gained 2 countries this week.
Wow.
Merry Christmas is about as offensive to us as Let's Go Brandon.
Yeah.
We don't care.
I know. Yeah, we literally don't give a shit. So.
Oh, I mean, and on top of that is like, what about Hanukkah? What about Kwanzaa?
Yeah, preaching to the choir here. We always.
That's the only reason people say happy holidays is because they don't know what other fucking people celebrate. So they're just like, happy holidays, so I don't say the wrong fucking thing.
Like, I'm as a guy who's like constantly in the back of the house. I don't like talking to people. Like, I want to get it over with as quickly as possible. Like, happy holidays, not.
Yeah. I don't want to go through the whole list.
Yeah.
If I say happy holidays, I cover all of them.
About that.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to get it over with, Like, move on.
Right. I'm done talking,
Right. I know. Putting my mask back on,
Thank you, drive through.
Yeah.
Right.
We were worried about the Salvation Army people ringing the bell after they came out with the that thing on their website about how Christians should look at race a little bit differently. And then now everybody was boycotting the Salvation Army. It's funny how the cancel culture, the anti-cancel culture people are all about canceling stuff. I don't know. It's all fucking bullshit. But
I mean, the Salvation Armies. I mean, they're famously, they would kick out anybody who's gay. They couldn't stay at their shelters, and they're not exactly a paragon of integrity.
No. But I'm talking about. I'm not talking about them as a company because I don't agree with a lot of this stuff. But I mean the poor people who are out there volunteering, ringing the bell, having to get the shout "Let's Go Brandon" down all day long or whatever's going on.
I know.
Yeah, like they don't really have much to do with all the bullshit. They're like, I'm just trying to make extra money. I'm ringing this bell.
And like we've of course the elephant is back in the room. The third season of COVID is coming back. I saw the numbers for Mojave. Oh my God, like 18 deaths in like the past for this month alone. I mean, that's terrible. How are you guys dealing with all that?
I think we've just, other than the depression, it's just it sinks in that you got to realize this isn't going to go away. This is just what we have to deal with, and we have to keep on getting boosters. We have to keep on getting boosters. Speaking of COVID, if you have Paramount Plus, watch the South Park specials, the post-COVID. They're hilarious.
All right.
So, hey, give us one more plug for Bootsies.
So, absolutely. Bootsies, we're getting ready to start featuring the mustard sauce. It's in the works. We're going to start featuring it on Amazon, so you could buy it on Amazon if that's your preferred vendor. You can buy it on our website, www.bootsies, BOOTSIES, you can order it from us there, or you can also order it from us on our Facebook page. And if you haven't liked our Facebook page, give us a like and give us a review too. If you've ever bought anything from us, give us a review. It's crazy. And also if you do a review, let me know. Somebody did a review for us on our whiskey steak seasoning, and it's exploded. Like we've had, I would say, probably 20 orders of it in the past week online, and I can't find the review anywhere. But people are like, "Oh yeah, I saw the review of this," and some guy said this was like the greatest steak seasoning and like on planet Earth.
It is.
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious. It's because our podcast is blowing up. That
must be it. That must be it. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I mean, my God, who knows? I mean, I don't know. It was like if like Snow's out there like delivering stuff with it, like on a, like wearing it as a perfume or whatever. But yeah, I mean,
that's the reason why. That's it.
I detect some
the
pineapple.
ode to funk,
Hey, well, it was great having you on as always. We need to wrap this up because we're going to eat.
Yeah.
But happy holidays to you and your family.
Happy holidays.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
your daughter was
Yeah.
right behind you trying to get your attention. But
Yeah, that's
And we
Lucy.
we
Yeah.
kept seeing her pop in on the monitor. Like,
Yeah,
hey.
Lucy, you want to come say hi?
how you doing?
Hi.
So I think Lucy. Lucy's gonna. So Lucy just is learning in school about the triangle waste fire, and it's like something that's really had a really profound effect on her. And especially since some of the kids that died in the fire are 14 years old, and so she's gonna come with me to bring food to the line and support the strike workers. And
Well,
so
that's awesome.
Oh, very cool.
when Lucy was 6 months old, we went to the Capitol in Little Rock, and we joined with the teachers of the Red for Ed strike. And so she's been involved with this for a long time. She just doesn't probably remember, but it's going to be great for her to kind of be part of history and understand a little bit more about how we got these rights, how we got the weekend, how we got the overtime, how we got all these other things that take for granted. So
Well, that's
That's awesome.
Hey, and now that Memphis has a high-speed rail up to Boston,
yeah.
right?
Oh
Or
no, they've got
coming-
direct flight. It's direct flight.
Oh,
yeah.
direct flight. All right, direct flight yourself up to Boston next St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. Well, and just so you guys know, it's a direct flight from Vegas to Memphis, and then now a direct flight from Memphis, Boston.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Cool.
put that in your pipe and smoke on.
All right. Well, have great holidays. We will talk to you in the new year. Have you on again?
I know. And Snow, I miss you so much. I don't get to see you online anymore.
I
because
know.
you're-
I miss you
right,
too.
I know and respect it, but yeah, it's great to see you.
I know.
Talk to you
I
again.
deleted after the whistleblower. Yeah.
Yeah, they're evil. Don't worry about it. You did the
No.
right thing. I wish I wasn't so weak.
Well, there's other ways to communicate. We do have cell phones. There's texting and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What? What is this? What is this sorcery called text phone?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of it. So
Or you get
I miss you too, though.
Although you're still on Instagram, right?
Oh yeah, but I hardly ever go on that one.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but Instagram's.
I haven't been on there in forever.
All right. I'll have to figure out another way.
I know, and I haven't been on there since because I found out that he owns that too.
Yeah.
He owns Instagram.
He's going to own everything.
He's
eventually.
everywhere.
It's an evil empire.
He's got his tentacles into everything.
All right, Pete. Well, it's been great. And hopefully you and your family have a great holidays, and we will talk to you next year.
absolutely, guys. Take care.
Okay.
Have a safe holidays and happy New Year.
All right. Good night.
Hey, bye, PETA.
Bye.